10 guys on the field.
They're down in 7. This one is launched from McLaurin. He's got it. Touchdown.
Commanders fans, we rejoice. A starting quarterback, a competent GM, a coach who isn't complacent with losing. Commanders fans, we are up right now. But at the end of the day, we cannot become delusional. Listen, the chances of us winning a Super Bowl this year one with Jayden Daniels is pretty low. Let's be real. But here's the big thing, Commander fans. And listen, I'm a Commander fan too, so I'm going to try to be unbiased when I say this. We have the most upside in the NFL. And listen, I get it. There's the Lions. There's still, of course, the Chiefs. There's so many of these young teams. But here is why the Commanders have the most upside in the NFL. We had what CBS Sports called the best rookie draft class for 2024. But listen, let's talk about current events for a second. We just traded for Marshon Lattimore, and this is being filmed about a day after we traded for Marshon Lattimore. Now, obviously, what a huge pickup, an elite corner, bolstering our weakest positional group, the corners. That is obviously already going to bring us to another level. But let's talk about the development of these 2024 rookies. Pick 2, Jayden Daniels. You know, we could talk so much about how good Jayden Daniels is and how much better Jayden Daniels is than any other rookie quarterback in this class. Argue with a fucking wall. I frankly don't care. He's better than Caleb Williams. He's better than Bo Nix. He's better than Drake May. I don't care. Argue with the wall. Jayden Daniels is the best rookie quarterback right now, but we'll get more into that later. Let's talk about some of these later round pickups that are not only going to help fill out the roster, these are going to be positional starters and even possibly positional stars for the next 5 years. Johnny Newton, an absolute dog of a defensive tackle. I can't believe that he fell to where he did in the second round, but no complaints. Johnny Newton has already been inserted in for the injured John Allen and has been balling lately. Mikey Sainstro. Now, Mikey Sainstro had a couple of struggles in the beginning of the season, but that is expected for most rookie corners, especially ones being thrown into a starting position. But now that we have made these trades, now that we have Marshon Lattimore, the number 1, Benjamin St. Juicebox, who's a trash can actually play the number 2 receivers now, let's Mikey Sainstro go back into his original position of that nickel corner. And also, Mikey Sainstro still is a really talented, hard-hitting, hard-nosed player. So he can play around that corner spot wherever we need him. Now, Ben Sinnott, I get it. He only has the 1 touchdown this season. He's been a little quiet. It's because we are developing him like Trey McBride. We are letting him learn behind the veteran Zach Ertz right now, who prime Zach Ertz was a dog. And even Zach Ertz this season has been really solid. We are letting him learn behind Zach Ertz right now so that he can be our starting tight end for the future. Brandon Coleman. I mean, the shock. Listen, I actually, frankly, didn't love the Brandon Coleman pick at first. Round 3, it was a guard. Everyone builds him as a guard. He has become one of the better starting left tackles in the league. Listen, we just played the Giants going against Brian Burns. Brandon Coleman in his first game as a full-time starter was a dog. He did his job. Jayden Daniels didn't get sacked once. Brandon Coleman is going to become a premier starting left tackle, and to be able to get your starting quarterback and your starting left tackle in the same draft, it's called an Adam Peters masterclass, baby. Luke McCaffrey, I think this kid's got a ton of upside. He's been playing, he's been making some big plays, and actually he has one of the best catch percentages in the league, meaning when the ball is thrown to him, Luke McCaffrey is bringing that bitch in. And I honestly am so excited to see his development as a player. I think he has a ton of potential to be a great wide receiver too on this franchise for a long time. Now, Jordan Maggie. Now, a lot of you haven't heard of Jordan Maggie before. You probably haven't seen him play a lot, but the amount of praise this kid is getting, even though he's been injured a little on and off, from this defense is insane. Listen, if people are talking about you and how talented you are and how great you're doing when you're in a linebacker room with Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louvu, you're obviously doing something right. And that is frankly why CBS said we had the best rookie class of 2024. And that is going to fuel this team for many years to come. All right, my bad, y'all. I spent so long just glazing the living shit out of Adam Peters' first class of rookies. But can you blame me? You can't blame me at all. Listen, I'm a Commanders fan. Y'all know it already. You can tell by the video. You can tell because this is my first video on my new NFL channel. Listen, I'm trying out here, all right? So cut me a little bit of slack. Let's talk about money for a second. $100 million in 2025 cap space. That is an insane amount of money, especially for the free agents that we have to re-sign. So far, we are giving Adam Peters an open sandbox and just gave him the keys to the whip. We're telling him do whatever he wants. And let's shout out some of Adam Peters' first wave of signings. I mean, guys like Tyler Biadasz, Frankie Louvu, Austin Eckler, these guys are playing not only above their salary, but above expectations because Adam Peters made smart signings. And that's honestly what I expect to see again next free agency wave. Maybe there's that one big splash and flashy signing, but again, I expect to see more smart signings that only bolster the skill of this team. Now, obviously, we're going to have to re-sign players. There are players that need to be re-signed. But listen, I don't think these players are going to be all that expensive. Bobby Wagner. If Bobby Wagner doesn't retire, I think giving Bobby Wagner, another 12, another 10, $8 million to come be a huge leader and a great run stopper for this team. I mean, he, at the end of the day, is part of this culture shift that the Commanders are seeing. Someone like Jeremy Chin, who got a 1-year prove it deal. I don't mind Jeremy Chin getting another 1 or 2 year deal. Clyde Farrell, Dante Fowler. These are like pieces for the Commanders that aren't going to take a ton of money, but are also filling their role well right now, and especially holding it down for some of these younger players to start taking over, who are, again, cheap as hell. Now, let's talk about free agents for a second. There are some premier free agents out there right now. Listen, I could talk about who I think is a good fit for the Commanders, for some low-key free agents, but let's talk about just some of the premier ones. So say we only land one of these star players. All it does is just add to this already great roster that is performing at a top level. Javon Holland is a safety that really catches my eye from the Miami Dolphins. If we didn't re-sign Jeremy Chin, I could definitely see us going for a premier safety like Javon Holland. A wide receiver like T. Higgins. Listen, this team does drastically need a wide receiver too, really badly. We need that star to play next to Terry, and maybe Luke McCaffrey can develop into that. Maybe De'Ami Brown could develop into that. But T. Higgins is a guaranteed outstanding wide receiver too. There are so many other great players in this free agency class. DJ Reed, Amari Cooper, Dre Greenlaw, Chris Godwin, Ronnie Stanley, Trey Smith. So many players that could be our one splash signing that then allow us to go and start going through each position and figuring out the little needs that we have on this team. So money-wise, the Commanders are in a fantastic spot, especially with a great class of free agents coming up. Now listen, I've given you guys some outstanding reasons on why the Commanders are going to be a problem in the NFL for a very long time after this, but at the end of the day, it really does rely on one man. Now listen, everybody's been waiting for it. Everybody's been waiting to hear it. At the end of the day, it's about Jayden Daniels and Jayden Daniels' development. Jayden Daniels already has come in. He's been a pro. He's been legit, and he has been a huge playmaker for this. But at the end of the day, not all rookies are going to be rookies forever. And I say this because defenses learn about the quarterbacks. More film gets put out about the quarterback, about how they play, and things are going to get harder. But the question is, can Jayden Daniels develop, continue to evolve his game in a way that he can still be a dynamic playmaker for the next 5, 10, even 15 years in the NFL? And the answer is, I think yes. Quarterbacks in college often show a rapid progression of skill, of IQ, of just everything. But Jayden Daniels did a fantastic job of developing in college. But something that I think really helped him in college, and I think is really helping him in the pros already, is the custom VR system that he has that lets him take mental reps for the game all week. I think that a lot of teams are going to be installing this for their quarterback very soon, and I think Jayden Daniels is starting a storm of mental reps and ways to practice without taking the hits with his VR system. But even beyond that, let's talk about how dynamic Jayden Daniels is. Obviously, we know he's a runner, he's a passer, he's a smart decision maker, he doesn't turn the ball over. There are going to be bumps in the road, and there are going to be mistakes that happen, but Jayden Daniels is showing us that even with, I wouldn't even call this current roster a fantastic roster, he is carrying us to wins, he is carrying us to relevancy. So with a better roster, with more time to develop, with more time, I think Jayden Daniels only gets better in the NFL, and I think Jayden Daniels becomes one of the top 5 quarterbacks within the next 2 years. You could even argue he's a top 5 quarterback right now in the NFL. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for watching my absolute yap session about the Commanders and why I think the Commanders are going to be the best team in the NFL for the next 3 years, for the next 5 years, for a very long time. If they can stay on the path that they're on now. Obviously, if we just shit the bed, Jayden Daniels dies and Adam Peters goes, off the perky, we're fucked. But right now, with the track we're on, I think we're going to become the best team in the NFL. So if you guys enjoy this, if you want my opinion on other teams, other players, if you want me to do more of these types of videos, leave a comment, drop a sub, let me know. Especially comment. Tell me what you want to hear. Tell me what you want to see on comments. I'm only going to get better at this. This is my first NFL video. So again, if you did enjoy this, make sure you let me know. Thank you guys again for watching, and I will be talking and yapping at you again very, very soon.